Yes, we are. We're just going to give it a little bit more time to get the last 2 weeks ago. Everybody, come on in. Yay. We are so happy to be back. Like we said, we won. We are so about to work out the yeah. All right. We're gonna get started. How are y'all doing? I am Myochi.
And I am Renee, and we're so glad that you tuned in once again to the 40 Spot Podcast.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. This is the 40 Spot Podcast, as Renee said. This is where we discuss the highs and lows of being 40 and everything in between.
Absolutely. And we would just like you to go like, subscribe, follow, share, text your friends, text your family members, text everybody, your coworkers, let them know that we are live. They can follow us on all social media platforms at the40spot.com. And right now, if they want to see us live, they can tune in to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. All of those, and we are streaming right now. And so as we give everybody a little bit more time to come into the chat, please let us know where you're watching from or listening from. I do have some of my family members that's on my personal page that live that have tuned in. So they're coming in from South Carolina and Virginia and Florida and the DMV area. So we are very, very happy to see them.
Thank you. And I have a few people on my personal live as well.
All right. Give them a shout out, girl.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, like we said, let people know that we are here. We are ready to go, guys.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, we are like we last 2 weeks ago when we got started, we talked about where we were from, why we came into this to this platform. We also discussed the three top reasons and benefits of being 40. So you get a chance, you go check that out. But said all that to say, I am coming from Decatur, Georgia.
And I'm coming from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, and we are so happy that you are here. Like we said, please just go check out our last podcast. Well, YouTube and Facebook. We haven't been able to post our last podcast on any audio because we had a little issue that we realized that we was spending money, child. We had licensed music on our video, and that costs money. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we've already posted to our live pages, so we're gonna keep those up. But we are getting our audio edited, so that way we can put everything up on all podcasts, so you can have us in the replay, listen to us audio on your way to work, if you're just chilling. So we will definitely let you know where you can find us once we go live on all of the podcast platforms.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to be discussing New Year's resolution.
Ooh, hey.
Yes, yellow. And our title is Change Ain't Changed Till You Change.
That is so true. And change definitely starts here in your mind. So we're gonna just talk about a little, go dive deep into that and how to be successful with your New Year's resolutions. And hopefully, we at the 40 spot, we can try to help you stay successful as you help us stay successful with
Thank you,
ours.
because we need, we said before, we're trying to create a community and we need the tips and tricks as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have a little new segment. It's called While We Were Out because there's been 2 weeks since we've been gone. A lot have happened in our lives personally and definitely in the nation and in the world. So we just want to kind of do a little update with that. And since we're from the South, we want to give a big shout out to all of the students, alumni, and fans of the University of Georgia.
Yeah,
Go Dogs! They
go dog.
they won a huge, huge game against the University of Alabama. Roll Tide, for them to be the CFP championships. The
Yeah,
score was Georgia 33 and Alabama 18.
and y'all know this was a shake up because Alabama usually get this title.
Yes, they definitely always have a good solid team, and this was the first time in 40 years that Georgia has won a championship. So
Right.
it is definitely something monumental. I definitely kind of know how that feels. I was living in Chicago when the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, and oh my God, it was just it's like a weight that was lifted. It is just kind of like, hey, I can do this. Want to give a shout out to the MVP Stetson Bennett, for
Yes.
his contribution to winning and just being an excellent athlete.
And I also want to give a shout out to the coach, Coach Kirby Smart. He has been a part of the team for 6 years, and to be able to take the team to a national championship, my understanding is, because I'm really not a sports person, but my understanding is that is an amazing feat. So we are just happy and so proud. I definitely am now being in Georgia, of the team and all the work that they put in. And that's everybody, the coach, the MVP, the players, everybody in the background who does, all the stuff they do that I don't know what they
Yes.
do, the strategies that their hard work has paid off. Like Renee said, it's been 41 years since they've had a national championship. So that is amazing. We are proud of y'all. Keep it up.
Exactly. And then the national case that has really is became international.
Yeah.
Ahmaud Arbery, his killers was definitely convicted, which was somewhat of justice for the family. Travis McMichael, who was the actual trigger man, he got life without parole plus 20 years. His father, Gregory McMichael, was sentenced to the same thing. And William Bryant, also, they call him Roddy, who was actually the videotaper of this incident. He ended up getting life with parole, with a possibility of parole. So he will be eligible for parole in 30 years. So we were definitely happy to see that,
Yeah.
because it definitely showed a shifting and changing, and because there's so many cases throughout history that
Listen,
has had this.
and think about the ones that are not caught on camera. Because the reality is, even with this particular case, if they didn't have the audacity to record the situation, how would this have turned out? So honestly, I'm grateful that they had the audacity, that this
Right.
young man could be brought to justice, um, a semblance of justice, because them going to jail doesn't bring him back. So that is not,
Absolutely.
but we are happy about that. Also, Jackie Johnson, the DA, she has been indicted. I hope all the charges are brought against her, because how she handled this was absolutely incorrect. And I hope she gets some time as well. And everybody else that was involved, everybody
Yes.
let
The lack of action. So what she was charged with was one felony count of violating the oath of public office because she was a district attorney, and one misdemeanor count of obstructing and hindering law enforcement. So what actually happened, the father, he he had worked with her because he was an ex-cop, and as she worked her way up, they had worked close, and being from a small town, kind of everybody knew everybody. So there was absolutely true conflict of interest, which
Absolutely.
nothing is wrong with it because people, they know people in these arenas. However, when this happened, there is steps that you supposed to do. If you have a conflict of interest, then it's supposed to go to someone else and someone else and someone else. And it did not happen at any level. So we definitely see the power of social media, because with his family just was very, very relentless in trying to get justice for their
Absolutely.
son, because someone passed, someone died, someone was murdered. So someone has to take accountability for that. So they definitely went on their social media, and just everything, and people that got the word out, and they was able to get the word out, not just to the appropriate officials, but to the nation and on to the world.
Absolutely.
So, and we're grateful for that, and that just shows one of the good sides of social media. Good sides of social media.
Absolutely. And another thing that happened in the last 2 weeks, we lost some legends.
Oh
Um,
yes.
First one, we lost since I think it was the next day, Sidney Poitier. And we know that, he was a philanthropist, he was a humanitarian, he was the first black man filmed slapping a white man on camera. He
I
like,
was here
you gonna
for it.
slap me? I'm slapping him.
That's monumental.
He lived a long life. He was 96. So, we can't really say gone too soon, but it still was a loss. He was a legend.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then we also have Mr. Andre Talley, and some people may not know who he is, but he was the editor in chief for Vogue for decades. And people who know Vogue magazine, they really set the standard as far as what's fashion, what's in, what's hot, new coming trends, and everything had to go through him. So he was not just a fashion icon; he was fashion. It's like, hey, y'all want this to be on and popping, it has to go through me. And a little the fact that I did not know, and once I thought about it, given his age, he graduated from HBCU,
Yes,
North Carolina Central University, which is absolutely amazing. So I know that the students, alumni, and staff there, they probably already commemorates him as being, a iconic, or one of the more famous alumni from there. But I'm pretty sure that now, in the part of the history of that school, that university, his name will forever live on with that. And also just give, like, look, HBCUs is where it's at. Come join, go to an HBCU, because you can be the trendsetter of whatever it is. So
absolutely. And then we had Mr. Bob Saget. He was
yes.
one of America's dads. He was a pretty young man. He was 63, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, he was still
So
very young, very
very young.
young.
I think it was a shock to the comedy, the community, the comedian circle, and it was amazing to honestly to hear so many people talk about him in such a good way. Because
Hmm.
a lot of times we watch television and we get these feelings of these people we don't really know. They're playing characters. So we can only go by those things. But to hear that, his TV screen character and his real character match, that's a beautiful thing. And I think he will be truly missed, for all those 40-year-olds and above, and maybe some 30-year-olds. I know y'all remember Bob Saget from America's Funniest Home Videos. Now, apparently, somebody else took over after him. I have not, I don't even know who did that. However, we remember from that, as we said before, that was the first viral video where he
Yes.
kept flipping and doing all the crazy stuff that's when we learned, hey, um, animals have feelings and they funny and they have
Personalities
character.
and
Yes. So he, you know what I'm saying? He was the first viral video.
yes, absolutely. And he still was, definitely, he was working. He was down there, actually, um doing comedy down there. So his vacation was still, they're always working. And, it was nice to see a lot of relevant people that's now on the comedy circuit and everything, things that he had mentored them, and not calling him as mentor, but it's just like, hey, I'm trying to help you just get to where you at, because he was definitely instrumental for a lot of people, just pushing the needle forward, and just always this good, clean, all around person. And
Yes.
then we have
She's in the comments saying, and then there was World Star. I
exactly,
was like,
we're
yeah,
exactly, but
World
it's
Star
at the
all around.
stage. It's
But
at the stage.
that was the stage. America's Hundred
Yes,
on videos and World Star, and now we have them all on Instagram. And
right.
everywhere else. All
Yes,
right, who
and
else
then
do
we
we have, unfortunately?
Mr. Louis Anderson, a lot of people know him from his comedy and stuff. And most recently, he was working as a character on Baskets, which is a hilarious kind of comedy and everything. Everybody just kind of knew he was kind of chubby man with the gap tooth and, blonde hair, just kind of all over the place. But people had definitely beautiful, nice things to say about him. He unfortunately passed away. He was relatively young, too,
Yeah.
in his 60s. And a lot of people, this next person, his name is a stage name is Meatloaf, and a lot of people like, wait a minute, what is that? But people, they know his song, so
Yeah.
we're gonna let you sing
Here's a little snippet.
that.
Cause I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
And that is
So
a classic. It's like if you've never even heard the full song, you've heard that snippet and you know
yes.
that song. And to be honest, I wasn't sure who Meatloaf was when he first passed. And it was like that's how I said,
Uh,
oh, okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think definitely as we go into February, the month of love, that song is definitely going to be in heavy rotation, which is always is. It's been definitely sampled. I've seen it and heard it plenty of times in commercials. So definitely you'll see and hear more of that. And then we get to Max Julian.
Yes.
So some people may not know him, but since we're in the 40s spot, we are part of that culture. He was the main character in The Mac.
Hmm.
1973, those is when the black exploitation films was at its highest.
Yes.
So he was a part of that. Cleopatra Jones, which
Mhm.
is an awesome movie. If you have not seen it, go back and you need to see that. I mean, we've been awesome, but it definitely is highlighted. And also Def Jam's How to Be a Player for all the young people.
Well,
They
look,
may remember
you
that.
know, that like we were alive when that came out. The other one was
Absolutely,
the movies and the other
absolutely.
movies
So
started in the 70s. Now we definitely watched them and our parents watched them. They came on television. But How to Be a Player, that was also a nice little ratchet
yes,
good movie. So he played in that as well.
absolutely. So now we're going to talk about the two Ks.
Kanye
Kanye,
and Kim Kardashian.
Jesus,
Let me
always
see
in the
why
media.
I made the list for today. Because we were having a discussion. Because he didn't move right next door. And I was like, now he wrong.
I'm here for it. I'm here
And
for
she
it.
said she here for it. I am not here for it. I don't think that is appropriate. I think it's great that he wants to be in his kid's life, but you don't need to be next door, sir. Next door across the
Yeah,
street, you don't know the proximity, but you close. Okay.
yeah,
A couple blocks down, another street over.
yeah.
I think that's too much. I just think that
I
is
don't.
way too much.
It's really it's Kanye. It's kind of what did you really expect from him? Like to me, it is typical Kanye behavior, and he want to be close to his folks. Like y'all coming across, like I'm standing outside while you walk across the street. But the bigger thing is the people who probably used to live in that house didn't want to live next to them because there was always something going on. Like I'm moving, so the house was available.
Listen, even if the house wasn't available, kind of private. Yes, I would like to purchase this house. They would not. They were like, no, sir, we're not moving. I'll pay double, and then they hightailed it out there. I just, I just, I realized they living in much larger houses than I mean, bigger than the house I live in. However, next door is still next door. I, mm-mm, that's
North, come
no.
open the door. It's your daddy. Kim, now who is that? It's daddy. Yeah, now you for real crying like, oh
Listen,
my
he
God,
got
I
on
can't.
that video and was like, they not let me, and they don't let me know where this baby party is and what happened. It changed. So you're probably right. He probably like, excuse me, and you know, no, that's
Lord.
wrong because she is queen of TikTok right now. Come open the door, and she seemed like she'll open the door. She'd be like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah, she gonna open the door for their daddy because he already done had that conversation. Look, when your daddy call, if you can't do it, send Saint Chicago, somebody come down here and open that door. Just build a corridor between the two back doors, so you just leave them unlocked. They can just go in between, and everything. But you gonna know where he peeping out and looking at him. That window that got that raggedy blind. That's the one that he stay in. I'm looking like, guess what?
And when you
You
look up,
left
he's
me.
doing hands on his hips, looking like, "What the
Right. And it's just
oh,
like
person?"
when you have company, that's when the phone calls go start. Like no,
Classic,
and
classic. Not next door. Again, I'm all for being a part of your children's life, picking them up from school because that's what he say he does. I think that's a wonderful thing, but not next door.
the just this was Queen in the comment say, if I was Kim, I would move.
And she probably will.
And guess what? So he can move right next door.
He will be like,
You're
I
gonna have
got
to
power
do
now.
like he did, buy 500 acres.
And that's
Put
probably
your house smack dab in the middle, so then he can buy the next 500 acres on the next way. So guess what? We ain't sitting
how he
these
put
kids.
that.
I can't even see you. We
And if
miles
she
apart.
don't move, it's probably because she know he just gonna move next door, so whatever. But our very last topic of while somebody had COVID.
Oh Jesus!
Somebody. I mean, I wonder who it was.
It's a whole lot of people according to the news. Of
Somebody on your
millions of
screen.
people.
Somebody had COVID.
It was me. I ended up getting COVID. I had no idea. And Saturday, 2 weeks ago, Saturday, when I woke up, I felt horrible. Yes, Chizzy, it was me. It was Renee. Like I just knew I was not not that I just knew I was not going to get COVID. I was definitely not above that because I work with COVID every day. So it's like I'm constantly exposed just due to workplace, environment. But I woke up that Saturday morning. I had a little scratch in my throat. I'm thinking, well, maybe I slept with my mouth open or something, and my throat was dry. Mm-mm. So I drank something. I felt better. And about 2, 3 hours later, it was just a decline. It was like, I ain't feeling all that great. And I just kept feeling progressively worse and worse. And we was practicing and getting everything ready for the first episode. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, if Myochi say we should push it back, I'm gonna say okay, and I'm gonna close this laptop and I'm getting in the bed under the covers and just try to ride this thing out. So she
But
didn't say that.
as a matter of fact, I said something very different. That now, I mean, I don't necessarily regret it, but I was like, ooh. I was like, girl, you have to get it together. You better get some tea, get you some rest. You got to press through this thing. You know, the show
Yeah.
must go on.
Yeah, she's a very hard taskmaster. And and I did as instructed. Pull it
See,
together, get it together. But when
yo,
I say I was feeling so crappy and I was coughing, so everybody seen I had my tea and everything. And it was so that, nobody was just like, have you been checked? Because you definitely, that sound like might be that COVID coughing. Like nobody knows. Like we don't see you doing anything else on the
had one
screen.
because Chisholm said I knew that cough from miles away. She had one, like, but she was not coughing, and it's like he held that thing together to the end, honey.
Yes, but once it was over, it was like, what you going to do? I'm going to get into bed.
Mhm.
And once that Monday, when I woke up, I felt better. I wasn't 100%. I was probably about 80, 85%, but I was still good. So I was up doing my stuff around the house, getting prepared to go to work that night. And my son gave me a call, tell me, he was like, Mom, I got to tell you something. I was like, what? And he says his best friend tested positive for COVID. I was like, quit lying. He was like, no, I'm telling the truth. And so when you have teenagers, it's categories to their lives, right? So you got those categories. I'm just gonna tell this lie just to see what you gonna do and how you gonna react because they think it's funny. And he's always trying to catch stuff to put on his own social media. And then you have those lies where, hey, I'm trying to save my neck, or I'm trying to finesse, trying to finesse my mother or something. And then I was like, I don't believe it because, and his best friend called and he told me that he did, and he was like, all right. Yes, Mr. Corey, he be telling stories, y'all. He be telling them. Sometimes he got more Whoppers than Burger King, but he would tell them he try to finesse me, and I have to stay abreast of everything.
Yeah.
So his university, because all of the kids was at home for college, and his school had them test a week before they was to go on campus, and then they wanted another test 24 to 48 hours. And so he felt fine, and that was what happened. I got exposed to him because I had them driving around Miss Daisy doing my little extra stuff and everything. So I was so happy for them to be in the car just driving. I sat in the back, and that's where I do believe that I got the exposure from. But oddly, nobody else in the house got COVID, which was great. And I was out, but yesterday I tested, my antigen test was negative.
Yeah.
Um, I felt fine, and I know that there's so many people out there that have survived COVID through the beginning of this pandemic, but they had a very, very hard time getting over it, and they have a lot of residual issues and stuff, and some people that did not make it. So I do not take it lightly at all. The best advice that I can tell anybody: wash your hands when soap and water is available. Use hand sanitizer, Lysol, disinfect
Yeah.
things that you touch in your home, um, and keep that social distance. Be mindful of how many people you're around and everything. Just sometimes that physical barrier, that environmental barrier to keep you from actually coming in contact, that is the best thing because the virus does not move. People move, they have the virus to take it from this
Please.
place, that place. That's the best advice that I can give you, as well as if you have a little scratchy throat, do not attribute it to sinuses or something like that. It could be COVID. We're still in um a pandemic.
They're still in a panini, honey.
Yes. Some people said pandemic, whatever it is, whether
Whatever
it was
we
planned
here.
or it just happened, however you feel about it, whatever the origins that you feel, it is here. And so you just have to take care of that
And I say
as much as
like
possible.
this: COVID is just like sperm. All it takes is one. All it
Right.
takes is one person. So yeah, they talk about, hey, make sure that you're in smaller groups. That give us some comfort, and that it decreases the exposure because it's less people. However, all it takes is one. So
Yeah.
if it's a group of 10 and one person have COVID and they don't know, it can easily go on to someone else. Yes, wear your mask. Wear it.
Mhm.
Wear your mask. Don't be afraid to wear it. I went to a concert, honey. There was so many people at this concert did not have on a mask, and I was so happy I had on my Can9 for it. What is it? 49, 40? Child,
95.
thank you. I had
Stay
on
in 95.
Can95, 9. So I'm like, all right. But I'm happy I had it on. I didn't care. I probably looked weird to all those people, but I was like, And yes, everybody had to come in there with either your vaccination card or something that says that you were negative. But that doesn't matter. You can be vaccinated and get it. That doesn't stop you from getting it. That just decreases any symptoms. So wear your mask. Also, one thing I want to add about it is if you are not feeling well, anything like Renee was saying, don't go places. I know
Yeah.
we're all trying
Stay
to get
home.
outside because we've been on lockdown. But if you don't feel well, stay at home. Nobody will be offended. And if they are, oh well, honestly, those are not your people. If you say, hey, I got a scratchy throat, I'm going to stay home, I would appreciate that because
Yeah.
you don't know. It shows up. Somebody have the lightest symptom actually turn out to be, positive. Or you have no symptoms. No symptoms, you can't do nothing about that. But if you have
Right.
something, stay home.
Stay at the house.
Yes. And so we also wanted Renee to share this concoction, child.
Yes, so this has been going around on social media. It's been termed the medicine ball. People have been making their own renditions, or they can go to Starbucks and order it. But it was so great. It was Tivana's peach tranquility tea, honey. Doesn't matter what type of honey it is. Probably organic honey is probably better. A peppermint tea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you can use lemonade. If you do not have lemonade, then you can use like freshly squeezed lemon or lemon concentrate. And you put that together. And we have the recipe in which we use, and we'll put it in the description and on our pages and stuff. It was so nice. It really just helped soothe, kept everything open. And because there's no caffeine, it didn't have me, kind of jacked up, all hyped up or anything like that. It was just, hey, I need this to help kind of soothe my upper respiratory tract. And it really helped. And it was something that I will be using and drinking despite whether I feel bad or not. But when I look back at the videos, I'm like, I felt like trash, but I really, really pushed through. Nobody would have known.
No.
And I was just like, oh my goodness, this thing, it seemed like we was on there for days. Days.
Dang.
Yes, but I pushed through. I'm glad that I'm feeling better. Um, Thank you all. Nicole said yes, medicine ball, love it. She had
First of
some on
all, I need
Friday.
Nicole, before you tried the medicine ball, did you know that it wasn't a ball? Because she keep telling me about what she drinking. And so she's like, well, I had this medicine ball and she telling me what's in it. And I'm like, well, what else? And she was like, that's it. And I'm like, well, where's the ball? Like, I'm
I
so confused.
needed that laugh.
I'm still confused because I feel like if you call something a ball, there should be something circular being used. Yet there's nothing. I'm
No, you can't say that because we've been out like, oh, last night we had a ball. We didn't have nothing circular.
listen. You said a medicine ball, like there's the exercise ball you sit on. It could be something else, but it's an actual ball. I thought it was like this little. If you have loose teeth, there's like a little thing, and it's in a circle. So I thought that was important because that's why I'm like, oh, is it loose teeth? She's like, no, it's bags. So I'm like confused, still confused.
Oh
Still,
my goodness.
and
Oh,
I don't know why they call it a medicine ball.
I needed that
Yeah,
laugh then and now.
a
And
medicine.
this is why English is such a hard language to learn
Exactly,
because
exactly.
it has too many innuendos. This means
Depending on where
something,
you
and
live, geographic
oh my god, the
things,
slang, and all those little catchphrases. Is one of
and
my friends
apparently
Lydia said,
medicine
"Oh, you
ball.
from South Carolina? Y'all had them catchphrases."
Exactly. But obviously, medicine ball has crossed a line. I just don't know about it. And here's the thing. I don't have to know everything. I don't always know everything, but it still doesn't really make sense to me. But I'm gonna try it because you talked about how tasty it was. I'm like, you know what? I might need that for something soothing. So I'm
Yes.
gonna try that out. Yes, I
Yeah,
will.
so try it out. Let us know later in the comments. Email us at the gmail.com at the 40 spot the 40 spot at gmail.com. Just how did it go? Tell us in the comments, DM us, whatever. Like, have you already tried it? Do you want to try it? Tell me how you think about it.
And like she said, we will put the ingredients and the directions in the comments if you didn't catch it while it was on screen.
Yes.
So now we are going to move to our topic for tonight. Resolutions. Change and change until you
You
change.
change.
I mean, we didn't come up with that topic. Heard that a pastor say that here, that a man like a creflo dollar, and that has stuck with me because at the end of the day, honey, you could talk all day, but ain't nothing happen. It is just talk and wasted air if you have not done anything about it. So,
Mm.
we didn't come up with these things on our own. We did a little research. And what we did find out about New Year's resolutions is that 80% fall off here in the US. Can't speak for other countries,
Yes.
but here in the US, 80% of people fall off their resolutions by February.
So people got 7 days left,
And they
and
go,
they off.
oh,
Majority of you
God,
is out.
Enzo, okay? And then 8% of Americans keep their resolutions. That is such a small percentage. That is such a small percentage, but that's what it is. That is where we are. So since we knowing that information, we're like, okay, what can we do to make this better to kind of set ourselves up for success? But first, Renee is going to share like the top 10 resolutions.
These are the most common New Year's resolutions. One, exercise more, which, of course, because survey research shows that most gym memberships is purchased in January, because with that in mind, which goes into number two, weight loss. So those things go in hand, but people can exercise just to kind of tone up, want to be more healthier, but most commonly exercise people they want to lose weight.
So in 7 days, the gyms will just be getting money. And
Yes.
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I just be chopping money at the gym. But you know,
Me too.
and
Me too. And I plan on doing better. I plan on doing better
I on
this year. And three, get organized. So this could be get organized in your house, your desk at work. It could just be organization of things in your life, your mind.
mine.
Just get organized. So then you have just more clarity for learn a new skill or hobby, which is great. So that could just be for your own personal, it could be for career or just anything. It may be something that you want to learn so that you can help volunteer
Wow.
or, you know, fulfill some type of goal, but you need to learn something in that. Number five, which I love, and I don't know if these things are in any type of particular order, but live life to the fullest. I think that is so great. And I think some people may look at, oh my God, I need to live to I'm in my 90s or 100 to accomplish everything. And it's really not about that. It's about how much life are you putting into the years that is given to you.
Are
It's
you living life or are you going to work, going to church?
Yes. And Nicole was like, you got to make affirmations and write them down. You got to put stuff
Yes.
into action. Yes. So she definitely, she's on it. She's on, they are on it in the comment section. They know exactly what they need to do. And six, save money slash spend less money. So those things, it could be something that you want. If not, just saving money just for a rainy day, or I'm about to quit this job without another job, so I'm finna just get this money up and I'm gonna stop spending. So I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to get another job, but those things. Number seven, quit smoking. Now it was surprising that quit drinking went on there. Now,
Not,
drinking has its own problems and issues.
not.
But if you do smoke, you should stop, because what a lot of people, they always think of smoking in terms of lung cancer. However, what people really do not know, smoking increases your chances of all types of cancer 50%. So if it's brain cancer, it's melanoma, any type of cancer that you can get in your body, smoking increases the chances of you
Carcinogen.
getting that by
It's a
50%.
carcinogen.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, a lot of people, they just don't know, but that is something.
And I'll
So
go back to what you just said. So this poll, this is like the top 10 resolutions. So it's funny that you actually said that. I didn't even think about that. That is just no one made a resolution. I guess they didn't make, maybe they didn't, it wasn't high enough. It's the top 10 to stop drinking. That's interesting. People say I'm keeping my liquor.
like, guess what, because I need that little shot or whatever. Like, look, so that means happy hour ain't going nowhere.
Not at all. All right, what's next?
So number eight was spend more time with family and friends, which I definitely think is probably one of, being in this pandemic, especially after 2020, I think more people probably definitely is incorporating that, because one, people had to really learn their family members and the people who they live in the house with, because sometimes you just so on the go and you only have just a little bit of time for this and a little bit of time for that. or whatever. So now you definitely want to spend more time with them, and you really see what is valued more,
Yeah,
because some people haven't had a lot of people to pass away and a lot of loss in their life.
yeah,
And then sometimes when you have that option, well, I want to go to Florida, I can go, I don't go. But then when those options are taken away from you, then
right,
you realize, like, hey, I miss my people. So
yeah,
I definitely think that is a great one. And number 9, travel more, which I think everybody should do. Travel within your own state, travel within your own country. And if you're able to travel abroad, please do that. Because I think some of the most interesting people that I've ever met was people who have traveled. Their stories are
yeah.
so rich and colorful, because they talk about the different cultures, the food, just how people may view them being an outsider in some other type of environment,
I think
and
it
to
really,
really, yeah,
I'm so sorry.
sorry,
I think it really opens your mind when you travel because you have a
yes,
different perspective. It's not just you and the circle that you are around. So the more you travel, whether it's international or domestically, because even in the US, a lot of people just stay in their little clique. But if you travel, and when you travel, don't stay
yes,
at resorts, actually travel out into the countries, meet the people that live there. Or if you're in the states, go in these states, go to the local gatherings. There's so many things that you can learn from other people just observing, not even
yes,
talking, but you got to talk to people.
yes,
I think that's
absolutely,
so important.
yes. And the last one was read more.
Yeah,
Your brain is a muscle. The way that you exercise it is by reading. It's
yeah,
not by thinking. Your brain thinks all of the time, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, because that is the epicenter of all bodily functions. But
absolutely.
when you read, you really expand. That goes back, like we said, about
That's
that
new
smooth
brain.
brain. You
Yes,
want a wrinkly gray brain. That means you have learned a lot of things. You have made connections. Your brain is working, and it's just like, okay. And when you wrinkle something up, actually it increases the surface area. So like if you stretch it out, and it's just like, oh my God, this
that is
is
so true. You have room
yes,
for more. You put out
yes,
a little paper, and you wrinkle it down, or you bend it all up. You have room. You have more space for more things. And just like traveling, reading actually opens up your mind to a whole new thing. You know,
yes,
all types of books, fiction,
yes.
nonfiction, self help. Spiritual.
Historic books. And I would suggest everybody should read a book that they would normally not read, because some people love, like, history pieces or the self-helps. Read something that you would normally
I
read.
like that. I like that.
So, just as I say, get out of that comfort zone, and then you don't never know. You may end up reading something that it's like, what, I really do like this. It
True.
could,
That is so true.
so that's everybody's homework.
That's
I'm gonna say,
that.
read something, and it just should be something that's out that you would never ever like think to read, and
And I
just
think
read
we'll
it.
be
See how you
surprised.
like it.
We'll probably be surprised. Well,
Yes.
Renee, what are your New Year's resolutions?
So one of the things kind of goes back to number 8, spend more time with family and friends. Um, a lot of the people that I know do not live in Nashville, and sometimes I haven't been consistent as
Mhm.
far as keeping in contact. And then when I do talk with the people, it's so much of stuff, like you got to try to catch up sometime a year or 18 months or months worth of things, and then you kind of feel bad, like, oh my God, I really haven't talked to them. And then you kind of, to a certain extent, feel I haven't included them, or I'm not included in their life.
Yeah.
And last year I had loss of some cousins who I was extremely close with, and some of the before they passed, it was still within like that 2 weeks time of them passing. It was like, hey, I need to call and check up on them, and I didn't do it.
Mhm.
And now I'm unable to do that, and I want to do different
Yeah.
for those that are there, and also just be consistent in whatever it is that I'm doing. I don't think I have any problem with motivation. It's just like the motivation has to get staying motivated. Like I'm serious about weight loss, but I have to remain serious
Right.
consistently on it every day. I can't eat good today and then eat bad for the next 2-3 days. um I want to do that,
That
just
sounds,
be consistent.
that sounds pretty accurate for me.
Yes, and Majestic Queen, she said she made a trip to Nashville. She haven't been back since she moved. And
Mhm.
so you kind of miss the cities, people that you left behind, and you really want to contact with those people, but you move or you just get busy, and it's just like, look, people make time for what they want. So I have to make time for the people that is most important, because one thing is for sure, rich, poor, around the world, whatever. No one at the end of life said, I should have spent more time at the office. No, it's
Nobody.
always, I wish I had spent more time with the people who I care and I love.
Absolutely.
So I definitely want to do that.
And now is the time. Change, and like our topic says, change ain't change until you change. So that's something you have to change and purpose to change.
So Majestic Queen is our Contessa. Oh my God, Contessa, I'm talking about you too. It's like, because sometimes me and Myochi, we feel so bad. This is one of our classmates, and it's just like, oh my God, I haven't talked to her in so
I
long. And
know.
then when we do, it's a long conversation, which I always enjoy. But it's like, for what we went through, like we became family. Like that's our sister was like, why haven't I talked to her?
Life,
So
and we're
hold me accountable.
we gotta do better.
Hold me accountable, Contessa. My Majestic Queen, hold me accountable. Like, girl, you said on this, give it back. Say, look, start right here at this number. You supposed to have
Exactly.
been in talking to me. What
Well,
happened? Where them phone calls? Where my text message replies? So I apologize to everybody, because people, they do text me and I have not texted them back in so much time.
it's
But
like
I just like,
every on your New Year's resolution that you're gonna text people back and you're gonna call.
yes, in a reasonable amount of
In a
time, call
reasonable
them
amount
back,
of time.
and they don't have to be the initiator. I'm gonna initiate it too. Yes.
That's good. Well, I wouldn't say I have any New Year's resolutions. I don't have anything like, oh, I have goals, but I have goals that kind of came over from 2020. And then
Yes.
I have some things that are going to happen regardless because I got to put in the work for it. I'll be graduating from grad school later this year. So it's on my vision board to keep the vision in front of me. I have several things on my vision board. However, a lot of those things are things that are going to happen, but it takes work to happen. So I want to keep the vision in front of me to make sure I don't slip
Mm-hmm.
up. And then there are certain things that I want to happen, but not necessarily in 2022. So, like one, I want to write a book. But I have it on there because it's a vision board. I don't think you have to have a vision board for a year. You create a vision board when you have a vision. And as the things you accomplish them, you scratch them off the vision board. Something I did, two things I did very different this year when I created my vision board. I actually have it on my as a screensaver on my phone. That was
That's
not
a
my
good
own idea.
idea.
That was somebody I follow on Instagram that suggested doing it, and I was like, oh my god, that is amazing because I'm
Yes.
constantly on my phone doing things for school, for work, for my life. You get down to Instagram and TikTok rabbit hole, and when you click off, you see your vision. So it's always in front of me. One thing I did change, and I would say this is what I have for 2022, and I may be doing that moving forward, but I don't know if it's mantras or what, but I have 4 words that is going to be consistently, ironically, is going to be consistently the things that I'm going to remind myself. So the 4 words for me is consistency,
Mm-hmm.
alignment, luxury, and surrender. So, we all know what consistency is, and consistency, honey, you need consistency when you don't have motivation because motivation comes and goes, as Renee said. Be consistent. Because if I'm going to be consistent, if I want to reach a goal, that means guess what? You got to consistently do your homework. You got to consistently reach out to your professors. You got to consistently get on that treadmill. You got to consistently choose things that are better for you to reach that goal. And that goes into alignment. Those are they're not the same, but they're definitely adjacent to each other. Thinking about when I'm making decisions, day-to-day decisions, or doing certain things, is this in alignment with what I'm trying to do?
Oh yes.
If this in alignment is what I do right here, is this going to help me reach the goals that I need?
Mm-hmm.
Am I aligned with spirit? Is my heart
Mm.
open to receive? So alignment is something I constantly want to make sure that I am in line. And I truly believe when you are in alignment, when you are spiritually aware, you will walk into certain doors without even.
Ooh, yes,
So
yes.
I want to be in alignment. I want to be on the correct path. The next one is luxury. I
Tell me about that, girl. So
listen.
what we buying?
This is a little bit about buying, and it's a little bit about a mindset. I mean, so I'm the kind of girl. I'm gonna pay for my nails to get done. I'm gonna pay for my hair to get done. I'm not afraid of paying for things like that. But that's stuff that I've done. I want to take it up a notch. I want to stretch my mind, stretch my thought process because I wanna fly first class. So the
Yeah.
thought of I don't need to fly first class because I'm gonna get there at the same time every that thought is out the window. I have that on my vision board. I want to fly first class. It might not be this year,
You
but
would get there first because you're gonna be the first off the plane.
hello. And I'm gonna pay the extra coin. And I'm gonna be real mad comfortable. And when I travel to Kenya, I'm gonna be laid out like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to fly first class, luxury in the sense of, and I'm not disclaimer. I'm not saying spend your bill money. No, no,
Oh
no.
no, please do
I'm
not
not
do that.
saying
We
money
are
that you
too
have
old.
aside for your emergency account that you go in there and let me. And it's not even just about spending money. It's about opening your mind. Like I want to luxuriate, honey. I want to luxuriate. So if I get a nice deal on a 5-star hotel, I want that stuff to come to me. Come to me.
Yes,
I'm open
yes,
to luxury. I'm open to luxuriating. And it's
yes,
and if we're not open to it, a lot of things don't come to us because of our mindset. Oh, I don't need that.
yeah.
No, I need it. I do.
Yeah.
And you need
And
it.
I'm worthy of it. I think
Worthy,
that's the key.
hello.
I am worthy. I am deserving of this. And
Exactly.
sometimes people in their background, the way they was raised up, you had to be very, very frugal with the money and stuff. So a lot of times you did get that, hey mama, I want this, or you overheard conversations, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I don't have this money. And
Right.
then you hear that and you're always with that. And that was like yesterday, I had went into one of the Coach stores was closing, and I was on the phone with my sister. And I was like, I don't know if I really need this. Do I really want to spend it? She was like, girl, go ahead on and spend it. She said, you just said y'all have all this overtime. You finna eat them up with the overtime because they're giving the incentive on it. And then she was like, you deserve it. And it was like, you know what?
You ain't going
Yes.
to real money. You ain't going to emergency savings. You're not going to
None of that.
crypto.
None of that.
Come on.
None of that. And then while we on there, I'm walking around with the bag. I'm still looking. I'm looking like, let me see what else I might want or whatever. And then my sister was like, hey, if you buy it online, then you spend $10 extra, you make it $300. Then
Be a
they give you
plug.
a Coach bangle, and you go through the site and you get 2% off. And I'm like, you know what? Let me put this bag back because I'm gonna order it and it's gonna come to my house.
But
Like
see,
I'm
that's
not
what I
gonna
mean.
have
It's
it.
not about how much you're spending. It's
Yeah.
about being open to nice things because you deserve it. Being open to luxurious experiences. Why not you? It's there.
Yes, and
People
as
ignore it.
Contessa said, she was like, "We have evolved." Yes, we have. We definitely have evolved.
Absolutely. So my very last word mantra, what I'm leaning into is surrender. I
Ooh, you
am,
waving the white flag, girl?
I'm not giving up on anything. Well, maybe I am. So what I'm giving up on, I'm not giving up on planning because I am a planner. But
Okay.
what I am giving up on is if my plans don't go the way that I want to, getting discombobulated. I'm surrendering to the process. I'm surrendering to the moment. I'm surrendering to what is going on in my life and believing that everything that is meant for me will happen. Everything
Okay.
that I need to go, I will go. Everything I need is there for me. So I am surrendering
Mm,
to that thought,
yes,
to that belief, and getting it out of my head and into my heart. Because I
you're
know
great.
planning is all about control because if I have these plans, then things will go how I want it to go. But what if my plan is not in alignment? What if
Mm,
that's in my mind? But there's something else that God has for me. That's why this had to be shook up some.
yeah,
So surrendering to the change. That is a big thing for me. Listen, change ain't change should change, baby. So I gotta change that. Because it doesn't and the
yes,
reality is planning serves me. It does serve me, but being upset about plans changing does not serve me. It does not serve me well. The way I react to people, the way I feel, sometimes it is very hard for me to readjust in my body. Like I feel this anxiety all up on the inside of me. It doesn't serve me. So I'm surrendering to the moment. I'm surrendering to Spirit, I am surrendering to what God has for me, and that everything is coming here to serve me. It's running me over. And sometimes those things gonna run me over and it's gonna stop the plan that I had. So that's what I'm doing for the new year. Now I do still have some goals, but these are the things that I'm focusing on so that I can reach those goals. Like I said, those goals came from 2022, some from 2020, some from 2019.
Absolutely. And the best time to start is today. It doesn't necessarily have to start at the beginning of the week or at the top of the month, top of the year. The best time to start is today. If that means that's 4:35 on a Wednesday afternoon, that's
You
it.
don't have to wait till Monday, y'all. A lot of us like to wait till Monday. Sometimes
When Monday in the beginning of the month, I think throughout the year, more things happen on the first Monday of the beginning of the month.
all the time.
Just start. Just start
So
wherever it is.
So what we have done, we have compiled five strategic things that we believe that will help all of us to reach our goals, to level up, and to continue to grow. The
Yes.
first thing, and I want to back up to something Renee said. If you don't have anything, it's okay.
Yeah.
Start focusing on, okay, you know what do I need to change in my life? Because maybe you don't feel like, if we're not changing, we're not evolving, and it may not be a thing. It may just
Yeah.
be a mindset. So I just want to
Yes.
put out there. Think about that because we want to all evolve and grow. Like we're in our 40s, some people in their 30s. I know we have a couple of viewers that's in their 20s. You want to continue to grow and evolve. But the
Absolutely.
first thing that we all must do to reach our goal is what? Be realistic.
Yes. Yes. You must. You must. You need to put realistic expectations on real people. You are real. You need to understand. Guess what? The Great Wall of China was not built in one day. A lot of things, however, you got to that point, it did not get there overnight. It's not going to go away overnight. Some people, they will have that road of Damascus type of, you
Well,
know, it happened in an instance, but guess what?
you
That
can't
is
rely
probably
on it.
2-3%
And you can't
of
rely.
holy high rollers. The rest of us, 97%, we gotta go through that process.
Absolutely. So you want to be realistic. If you say you want to lose weight, please don't say you want to lose 30 pounds in the first month. Honey, that's hard. Now,
Yeah.
if you do a little crack, that probably works.
We
I'm
don't
not
believe
condoning
it.
it. I'm just saying that's the only thing I can think of to lose 30 pounds in the first
No.
year. Or
Are you truly doing starvation
exactly,
where that is not healthy
exactly.
at all?
So you lost
So
weight, honey, as soon as you eat a cracker. Whoop, there you go right
exactly.
there.
This is so true.
Don't do that. And the next thing is outline your plan.
How are you going to get from where you're at to where you want to be? Not just like, oh, I'm gonna get in a car. Like, no, specifically say, this is what I want to do. An analogy is if you want to be a lawyer, people they know you need to go to undergrad, you got to study for the LSAT, you got to get into law school, you got to do all that, you got to set for your boards, all these other different type of things. So it's not like, hey, I want to be a lawyer, so I'm going to go and apply for a job at a law firm. It does not work like that.
Exactly. And you mad because you didn't get the job. Well, you didn't
Exactly.
outline a plan. First of all, you weren't realistic and you did not outline a plan. One of my
Exactly.
things that, this probably been since 2020 where I've been feeling that feeling of like, you know what, I really need to stop consuming dairy. I am
Hmm.
lactose intolerant. I do not care. I love ice cream. I love cheese. It's a very complicated relationship. And
Uh-huh.
so closer to the end of the year, I'm like, you know what? I really need to do it. But I said I'm gonna wait to the new year. So that's what I went ahead and did. I waited, but now although I waited during that time, I did start thinking of a plan. I started
Mm,
Googling certain things and trying out different things. So there's a certain yogurt. I was like, well, let me try this yogurt, see what it tastes like. So that way when I'm in it, it's easier because I've kind of already learned some things that I like that is
yeah.
non-dairy. Last
Mm.
week, now this is while I'm actually in it. Last week, went to Whole Foods, went listen aisle by aisle with my friend, and I'm like, oh, what is this? Oh, I wonder what this is. Mental notes in my phone. Like we can try this. Listen, let me tell you, it was like hallelujah when I found a heavy whipping cream, non-dairy.
Oh wow.
There is a God. I'm gonna start back on my keto. I love keto. That's a whole nother conversation. But in February, I will start back on keto. That is my plan. And I did a lot of things with heavy whipping cream, just with different dishes. I'm like, well, what if I want to do some mac and cheese? Not during keto, guys. But what if I want to do some
Yes.
mac and cheese, for a holiday or something like that? What am I gonna do? What that's gonna taste like? I'm so happy.
Mm,
I found me some heavy whipping cream. I do not know what it tastes like because I would have to go to another store so I can make me some cream spinach. So I'll report back to y'all on how it
yes.
tastes. But those are the things you need to do. You have a plan. Okay, outline it. How are you going to be able to reach those goals? You want to
Yes.
buy a house? Have you reached out to a real estate agent? Have you checked your credit score? Have you saved any money? Have you looked into any options? Those are things because you don't want to say I want to buy a house and then at the end of the year you haven't bought a house because you didn't all you did I went to look for a house and when I did my application they denied me. You didn't set yourself up for success. And this is all about setting yourself up for success.
Absolutely. And that's a good show idea because I have a cousin that's a realtor. I know that one of your friends that I'm working with, she's a realtor and maybe she needs to get on there because some people they don't know what
What?
they need to
That's
do.
very
And
true.
so that since we are here to try to help everybody be successful, we are in that age group where some people they've already purchased, some people may want to purchase additional home or upgrade or anything like that. So that would be something that we definitely will keep in mind to write down so that we can do that to help our people.
We'll be doing that. The next
Yes, Erica Freeman.
yes. The next one is figure out your obstacles.
Oh, yes. And I would say this. I think my biggest obstacle, which is probably everybody else's, if they are self aware, you are your biggest obstacle because
Child,
a lot of time the block starts up here in between them
honey.
ears. It
What
is
is it?
not why you trying
I'm
to
my
do.
own I'm my own
That's that's bad when you your own op. You you gotta like look. How does one beat themselves? Yes. So you definitely it is changing your mind because
Yep.
as I say change start there, the blocks and what if this and I can't do that. And also that's part of your plan so that if you're writing it out and you're trying to figure out how do I get from where I'm at to where I want to be and you planning, you prepared or you kind of start seeing what potentially could be an obstacle, but you kind of moving yourself out the way because it's like, hey, I'm really trying to do this and I'm going to do it.
And we have to
So
be honest with ourselves. We live in the real world. We are humans, and things happen day to day to day. So, figuring out your obstacles is important because when it happens, a lot of times when we have obstacles, um,
mhm,
whether it's mentally, whether it's the rain, whether it's like, oh, I got off late from work. Oh, if you have kids and you can't get to the gym, they don't have a day, a daycare in the gym, or whatever it can be. You have one day that you miss, and you miss the next day, and you miss the next day. So
mhm,
have a plan. If you figure out your obstacles, then you have a plan for your obstacle. If I can't go this day, I'll go on this day. If my day is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I mean, everybody's goal is not working out. It's just an easy analogy. I just want to say that. But
yes,
I'm going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, if on Wednesday my babysitter fell through, or you're taking the kids to the gym with you, or they're full, you know what? I'm gonna go another day. And if I can't go another day, what you gonna do at your house? Do you have some stairs that you can go up and down? Can you do some jumping jacks? Like figure out those obstacles so that you can be consistent. Because
mhm,
they're gonna things are gonna come. Things are gonna come up. You're not gonna feel like it, honey. That's the biggest obstacle. I don't feel like it.
right,
And sometimes you
absolutely,
gotta lean into that feeling. Sometimes you really don't feel like it, and you are actually tired. But since you're feeling this way, instead of feeling bad about it, you're like, oh Lord, I didn't do what I said I was going to do. You've already set yourself up. If there's a moment that I wait on a day that I wake up and I don't feel like it, I have got to go the next day.
right,
I'm going to go
absolutely,
the next day because it's already set in your mind.
mhm.
Yes. And the next thing we're going to say, find an accountability partner.
Absolutely. An accountability partner is not somebody that's going to pacify you, that's going to be a yes person. This is someone that is going to hold you accountable to
Yeah.
the words that you have said, the goals, not to the point where you aggravating them and they don't want to fool with you, but to be a reminder like, hey, I remember you said this. You said that you were going to have this done by this day. Did you do that?
Right.
What are you doing? How can I help you achieve that goal? So
And he's saying
that's what it
as
is.
your accountability partner, what's your plan?
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell your accountability, hey, I want to write a book and that's it. They don't even know what to ask you.
Yeah.
So if your plan is I want to write a book, so by this day I want to have an outline. My goal is, and maybe you have, let's say they say, well, what's your plan? I don't have one yet, but I'm gonna have one for you for next month. Okay, so they can check in with you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's important that they have your plan
Yeah.
because they have to check in. And like she said, it can't be somebody who's a yes man. You can't. For me, I will say it cannot be somebody who cussing me and doing listen. I have gotten rid of restraint before. Like this not working because you start coming for me, and I just be looking like I literally said I'm not doing that, and you yelling at me is not working. I do not work that way. So when you do choose an accountability partner, take those things into consideration. How are you with conflict? How are you when people tell you give you feedback? Now, certain things, we don't want to just say, well, I can't do that. That I know that I can't do because I put myself in that situation on more than one time. So I know I can't. That doesn't
Yeah.
work well with me, and it just doesn't work well. It's not even an attitude thing. It literally does not work for me. What works for me is somebody saying, all right, girl, have accountability partner say, hey, I missed this. They're like, all right, you have more days, woo, woo, woo. However,
Mm-hmm.
my next day I was supposed to do it, and I tell them I didn't do it. Well, you did know you missed Monday. You didn't.
Right.
You hadn't did worked on your homework yet. So, I mean, what you gonna do? You're not gonna do your homework? You're like, oh, you right.
Right.
Because when you have that accountability partner, you do dread telling somebody like, no, I didn't finish. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
promise I'm gonna do it. Don't it sound like I need accountability? Well, I had them because that's me. I promise I'm gonna do it. Like I'm begging somebody to not whip me, but
Yeah.
that is the reason because it keeps you accountable and on task. And one
Right.
thing we talked about is like, what if people don't have anyone around them that can hold them accountable? Like they know, what, they're not gonna hold me to the fire, or they're gonna do too much. Listen,
Absolutely.
it's called social media for a reason. It is media to be social on. Okay.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
go into Facebooks. There are Facebook groups for everything.
Yes, I think some of the probably the best accountability of partners is people who don't know you. They may not be in your first your town, your state or whatever, so they don't know your background story, so they're just going to hold your feet to the fire for what you say and what you're asking them to do and stuff. So there is ways around. Is at this point, um there's really no excuse.
There's no
you know you you just got to get out there and you got to do
And if you don't believe me, when I say they have a Facebook group for everything, I am in Black Women Who Love Starbucks.
it.
I love Starbucks.
And you didn't know the medicine ball. How
Yes, I
about that?
didn't. So okay, so I love Starbucks, but I'm not into tea like that. And I'm more than sure they post about it, but that's amazing how your mind doesn't look at certain things. But I mean, they have very good suggestions in there. I'm like, ooh, when I go to Chicago, I want to try this because if y'all didn't know, in different Starbucks, they
Yeah.
carry other stuff. I mean, it's a little tidbit. But if they have that for that, trust me, there's a walking group, there's a running group, there's a you want to sew group, there's a you writing a book group. Trust me, there's a group on Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
Twitter is very engaging. If you just put in hashtag sewing, honey, stuff is gonna come up. And I like it's so funny because I have an IG friend. I've never met her in person, but she is like an accountability person for me. She doesn't necessarily call me and say, "Hey, girl, did you do this?" However, I see her doing
Hmm.
that. I'm like, oh, "Girl, let me get up and go take care of my stuff." She order her
Yeah.
food. She do all this. I'm like, you know what? That is a good idea. I'm going to do that. So listen, if you don't have a person, get on social media. That is what it is for.
Absolutely.
So the last number 5, celebrate the small victories.
Absolutely. And that's part of your plan. So your plan is going to be different steps. So after you accomplish one step, then you have to be happy for that, because if the only time that you're going to get happy is at the end of this. Now, if it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I plan on getting my closet, organized and situated, yes, with that. But if it's something that's definitely going to take weeks, months, or whatever, You got to celebrate along the way
Yeah.
so that you can keep in context how far you have gone and how much you've accomplished. Not always like, oh, I got all of this to in order to do. So
Listen,
one step at a time.
that is so real. So I've talked a couple times about a 5K that I'm training for. I'm not gonna run the whole thing. I'm just put that out.
Just five.
It's been
Just
more of
five
a
minutes.
walk run situation for me. But listen, I have ran more in the last 6 weeks than I have in the last 6 years. So I count that
Oh,
as
that's great.
all victory. And let me tell you, what she just said is so true. When we first started training, I would count up, and it's like, oh, I have 15 minutes left. No, that's not right. Yeah, no. I was doing the other way. What I had left. So it was start at 45 and count back. So I was looking at what I had left to go. And that was discouraging. Literally, I run. And if I looked at my clock, because we have that looking back, right? Like the clock it ain't running, child. It's not time. It's not time for you to stop. But I look down and it's like my spirit just went, huh, and I automatically get tired. And I'm like, I have to stop. I have to stop. And then when I switched that, and that was although that was a physical thing, I realized once I did it, when I started counting up, I put 45 and 45, and I counted. Where did I start? And I know, sorry. Instead of I was counting how much I did. So when I looked down and I saw that I've done 15 minutes, that actually did not give me the same feeling. So
Mm,
not looking at how much you have left, but looking at how much you've done. It is a total mind
yes.
shift. It is a total mind shift. I am so serious. That little bitty tweak made me feel good. I looked down, I'm like, oh, it has been longer than 2 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
It really did something. So celebrate those small victories. If you want to lose weight, that first 5 pound, honey, celebrate. Don't celebrate with food. Celebrate with saying, yes, I can do everything that I put my mind to do.
Absolutely.
Celebrate when it's like you said, there's a mind shift that you want to make, and you hear yourself in a conversation like, heck, well, 2 months ago, I wouldn't even say that. Celebrate that.
Yes.
Celebrate that.
Absolutely.
And so those are the 5 things that we came up with that, from our research, from what we've experienced in the past, what has worked and what hasn't worked. But here is something that we are saying that all of us should be keeping as part of our way to reach our goal.
Absolutely. So I see it, I speak it, I say it, I seize it.
Yeah,
Seize it. So when you see it, it's like, what do you see? Not just with your physical eyes. What do you see mentally? What do you see spiritually? Like, do you see yourself with this accomplished goal? Do
yeah,
you have you seen yourself through that process, the ups, the downs, and everything encompassing of it? Because that's part of the vision. The vision just can't be like, oh, it's this. No, how did you get from here to that level?
yeah.
So you see all of that. And when you say, I speak it, this is what you're saying to yourself in your mirror. This is what you're saying to
The
yourself
affirmation.
internally. Like, you speaking into existence and
Yeah,
stuff. And I say it, which some people may be like, well, what's the difference between I speaking and I say it? Speaking it is that's what you're saying to yourself and that you're putting out into the universe. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. I am going to be X, Y, and Z. I'm going to whatever it is. And then when you say it, this is things that you start saying to the people that's around you. So that's when you grabbing hold to your accountability partner or
yeah,
to other people that's trying to do the same thing. You start telling these people this is what my goal, or maybe they start seeing some change and then they asking you. So then now it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I am saying what it is. And
yeah.
then
And just talk about it. You're saying it things like, yeah. So when I finish my book, this is what I'm going to do. Like it doesn't
right.
have to be a deep conversation. It could be a perfect stranger, right? Start a conversation. Yeah, because I'm writing a book. Put those things out there. Put it in the atmosphere.
Exactly. And I seize it, meaning that I have seized this entire journey to get to my goal. So I am appreciative of my goal because I embrace and I know that I would not have gotten to this point had I not went through everything that I did. And then also that's important because your journey and whatever you went through until you embrace it, it's really, really hard to help give that knowledge to someone else, because someone else is is hoping and they want to be where you're at. So they're gonna ask you. But if you haven't embraced it and you still just kind of mad because everything that you went through just to get to your goal, it can be counterproductive trying to help someone else. And it's all about, hey, you turn around and you help the next person. So then we all get to accomplish goals.
And we also said that I season is the work. You can have
Yes.
a vision board, you could talk all day. Honey, it's not gonna say, I'm doing this 5K. I signed up for a 5K. I'm telling people about it. I'm doing a little bit of training. I'm training.
Yes.
Need to stop clowning on myself. But I am training. And but guess what they're not gonna do if I don't show up? They're not gonna knock on my door and say, here's your medal. First of all, I'm not gonna get a medal because I didn't do it.
Right.
There's work to do. There is work
Absolutely.
to be done. Faith without work
Yes.
dead is dead as a doorknob, honey. So you have to do the work. Most of us,
Yes.
including me, I'm like, can it just happen? No.
Right. And sometimes you have to give it up, because from our last conversation that we had when we went live, it was like,
Oh,
hey, I
yes.
had a 25-year New Year's resolution. And I
I
found just
don't even
like,
know
you
what
know
it
what,
is.
it ain't even gonna happen. It's not any people like that's over half your age. Yes, it is. But one of the things that I had that I wanted to do, and
Mm,
I've given it up. Not saying that it's not going to happen. It
mm.
possibly will happen, but I'm okay. I wanted to stop cussing, but within 72 hours, 72, sometimes less than that, but definitely by 72, it is something or somebody do something that's worthy of a whole lot of cussing. So guess what? I just have the senses. Yes, I say all them words. Cuss some more. Make me mad and see when I make some things up.
You still going to heaven, girl. You
So yes. So that's my advice. Like, oh yes, I'm a cusser. I got a couple of PhDs in cussing. That's not necessarily something I'm just extremely proud of. But then I had to just realize, you know what? I don't know if it's something in my mind, whatever. Maybe I just gotta work on like that just doesn't deserve a comment or a comment of that magnitude. But sometimes you have to be comfortable with yourself. I am comfortable with myself that I cuss. Do I know how not to cuss in situations? Yes, I do. So therefore, I do know that. Guess what? I could turn it on and off, but do I have not been able to turn it off permanently? So guess what? Until that happens, I'm cussing. I'm cussing.
So
That's
y'all
just
listen. She
look, just go ahead and look. We may have something. It's like, oh, she said that. Just know that's the censor.
still
That's the censor over my mouth. It's like I say all them. I say all them words. All them words.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank
So
you Renee, so much for sharing it. That is hilarious. I did not know what she was. I'm like, what she been on for 25 years?
she did not know.
My wheels was turning.
You know what? Probably since I was probably about 10 years old. Seriously, I was like, I want to stop cussing. I
Mm-hmm.
want to stop cussing. People in my family, they cuss. It is no secret or whatever like that. My mama, she's a cusser or whatever. So it was like it's only natural. Like, girl, you go be cussing. So and it was just kind of like, you a little girl's just like, oh, I'm around my cousin, and all of us, we just cussing. And it was just like, oh, I like this. I like the way it just feel in my mouth and come out. And then when you
Just
really
roll
like
on.
learn how to cuss, because some people like they don't even know how to cuss right. Oh, I do. Oh, I do.
She does.
I do. Cuss words and let them roll.
Oh,
So
but
it was just like I like this
honey,
feeling, and then it was like I don't need to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this. And every year it was like I need to stop cussing. I want to stop cussing. Then I get in trouble for cussing and stuff like that, because of course you can't cuss really softly. A
no,
lot of times
it
it's
doesn't give the same
loud,
impact. It doesn't give the same impact.
and I'm a big voiced type of person anyway. So it's like I stayed getting called cussing. So it's like I gotta stop getting in trouble. Like I gotta stop cussing. I gotta stop cussing. And I was like I get in trouble at school because the teacher hear me cussing. get this paper or whatever, and like the first question I don't even know, man, this something. Excuse me,
Well,
Renee. It's like, man, they finna call my mom, and it's just like, and I'm cussing in my head and up under my breath, and it's just like, oh, I'm already in trouble for cussing. So guess what? I'm finna cuss.
I
I'm just
think
cussing,
it
and
goes
I'm
back to
okay
number
with it.
one. Be realistic. You have
Yeah,
officially said, "This is who I am. Accept me as
I
I am."
I'm a cusser. I'm a cusser. I've
I
had some guys was like, I don't like that you cuss. Well, I do.
I'm like, well, you don't like me. You need someone who
You
doesn't.
definitely don't like me. You definitely do. You have to cuss so much. I ain't at the job. It's just like when you be at home, I don't have to wear no bra. Well, I gotta wear a bra.
Well, you know how I
So
feel.
guess what? When I'm off duty, I'm gonna say it how I want to say it. I
Yes.
am from Greenwood, South Carolina. We are very, very country. So guess what? I have my professional voice, I have my semi-professional voice, and then I got all the way Greenwood. So guess what? When I'm amongst friends, I don't have to be proper. And I'm not gonna be proper and I'm cussing at the same time. So that's it.
Well, Miss Renee, I am so happy that you have shared that with us. That is hilarious. I did not expect that. And like we said, I think she goes through the whole list. She was realistic. She tried to have a plan. It didn't work. The 72 hours, it didn't
Never work.
work.
Never work.
She thought about her obstacles. People her obstacles. People her obstacles because they're not even letting her be great. Then she started telling people, "Hey, I want to stop cussing," but I bet those people, same people probably cuss, so they really couldn't help her. And did you celebrate your small victories? Did you celebrate the
I was happy that you know what, I could go
hours,
72
24
hours or a
hours,
couple of
only
hours.
48 hours? But
And
at
then
the same
sometimes it's just
time,
like these people they don't messed it up. And it's
we
just kind of one of those like I'm off the boat. At that point, it's like
So
it's
she
over with.
knows it's time for me to be true and real with myself, that this is not going to happen and be okay. But
Yes.
we want to say for all those people who are real with themselves, they still here on this side of heaven, honey. We want to say
Yes.
happy birthday to the second half of January. Oh, happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Birthday, Fernette. Hey.
Like,
Oh,
ugh.
happy birthday, Casey. Casey's gonna be 40 this year.
Yes, happy birthday to her. I want to give a special shout out to Teresa. She's not in the 40 club, but guess what? She's a very good supporter of us. Adrian, and a very, very special shout out to Miss Felicia. This is her 40th. She has made it
Yes.
to the 40th club. She is fabulous and 40. She is just walking in the newness, and I am ready to hear all of her good stuff that she has to say about when that switch turned on. I don't care what nobody got to say about me. I'm 40.
Hello.
I'm
That's what the
40.
go
So
on.
happy birthday to them. We wish them well and that they experience life in its fullness this entire decade of
Yes.
40
And for
and fabulous.
anyone who would like, we would love to celebrate your birthday. So please email us at the40spot@gmail.com with your birthday and the date and month. Because we are meeting every other week, we will put people on who's the first half of the month, and then the second half of the month we will celebrate others. But and anybody who's on here and it's your birthday this month, happy birthday. We are so happy that you are still with us. We are grateful, like you are grateful. And please just send that to us.
Absolutely. At the40spot at gmail.com.
Y'all, did y'all
And
keep out our shirts?
yes, we
Y'all
definitely we getting paraphernalia. We want to give a
keep
big shout out to Shatavia that naturally be you. And I
that.
think that is definitely just a good mantra for anybody to have at any age. Just naturally be you, because trust me, it is harder to try to be someone else than just to be yourself. But she made these great t-shirts. We have more paraphernalia and stuff coming. And if you want different things that's made, please hit her up on social media. She is quick.
Very
She's
quick.
going to have your stuff. We had our stuff a what it
You
was.
got mail. I
It
want to
was
say
in the mail. It was in the mail the next day.
we're like, oh, okay then. She said y'all have it by Friday. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes. And she was one of our people that we featured on the 25 Days of Christmas, which we definitely want to thank everybody who supported and got gift ideas for it. And those posts are still up there. So that if you want to find different businesses and everything that that we supported and that we highlighted during the 25 Days of Christmas is there. And she was one of those. So you can go and see a vast array of things that she does. And we want to just tell you like, hey, we just want you to like, comment, subscribe at the 40 spots, follow us, share a friend,
Yeah,
share with us, tell a friend, text your family members and everything. And
we've had a
we
wonderful time with y'all today.
absolutely the fun.
It,
We
it was
hate to have
fun.
to stop.
We hate to have to stop, but Lord, it's time to stop.
Yes.
But please join us February 6th. We'll be talking about love, not just romantic love, friendship love, love of your community. It's gearing us up for Lover's Day on February 14th. But again, Valentine's Day is not just about romantic love. We can celebrate romantic love, but it's all things encompassing. Again, we just say thank you guys for joining us, whether it was
Yes.
live or on the replay. Please follow us at the 40 spot. Email us at the40spot@gmail.com. And last but not least, remember this: change begins at the end of your comfort zone. Step
Yes.
on out. Bye, guys.
Bye till next time.
Yes.